Только мы только обсуждали с артистом, где армянский художник?
Армянский художник, да.
Андрани, мне кажется, не отвечает за именно за...
Да, я вообще нет, да. Моя, да, вот моя группа поддержки. Вообще в Армении трудно собрать людей, это... Ага. Great. Okay, good, perfect, thank you. So, yeah, today I will be speaking English, but basically, so today's my presentation will be about the fusion of minds, how we're trying to bridge engineering, science, and art for the new era of innovation. This is our presentation title. And I presented exactly this slide, a little bit modified during the Armenia Engineering Week like a couple of months ago, which was pretty good. And the only difference here, since I figured out it's a pretty nice kind of a warm atmosphere, I decided to add like a couple of slides about me so you can get to know me a bit better. So, because usually it's kind of unusual when we talk, we are engineers, we are trying to do art, basically, but so actually I'm coming from the family of artists. So my father is a sculptor, my sister, she's a painter, and everyone was thinking that I will be continuing their steps, right, footsteps. My father is still sculpting for 50 years. He's done many interesting works. My sister, she did some paintings, and when I was 6, this picture been created. So this was my first attempt to try art, actually. And I remember, I don't remember a lot from my childhood time, but I remember this scene when this was homework from my sister, and she went for a lunch or something, and I had the feeling I need to add something on that picture. You know, I took a brush, and I imagined something, but my skills were opposite to my imagination. So I brushed it, and I actually killed the picture, but so this was my first attempt, but eventually I took a different route. I I became an engineer, so basically just a quick introduction about my career. So I've been with the engineering kind of ecosystem for 10 plus years, since I graduated, basically, and then I went through the different roles, different industries, and I work in different applications. I traveled around the world, and then we basically work from like servicing complex system all the way to design, developing, and manufacturing complex system. And currently, most recently, I'm focused more on data analytics, on like things like machine learning and how to get most out your data. And obviously, my education is around engineering, so I went to the College of Informatics, I went through the Polytechnic, I have a master's degree in control systems, and as a hobby, I enjoy making this kind of stuff, you know, robotics and different type of things that not necessarily have a purpose. So it's just like it's a creation of kind of moment and the kind of a interesting behavior. So. And then, yeah, so art is kind of always been following me. I enjoy art. I enjoy visiting museums. I enjoy places. In fact, last Sunday I was in Athens Archaeology Museum. The pictures you showed, I was actually seeing them in person just a week ago. That was very interesting and fascinating. So basically, it's a quick intro about me, which might help you to understand why we're doing this stuff. And then there are people like me around our community. So, okay. Great. So today's presentation is really about what we're trying to do with this initiative, which is essentially around like trying to bridge engineering, science, and art. This is a very broad statement, very difficult to achieve, and then and over the time we've been trying to understand what are these intersections, because like people say that innovation happens on the intersection when art, engineering, and science intersect, right? on the crossroad or something, and then this picture is perfectly showing that. So this is actually AI generated picture, so a lot of them used in this presentation. But the main point is that over the years, you've seen a lot of intersections, like starting from Middle Ages, right? Like sculptors doing their sculptures. What they do is really utilizing these three disciplines. They use engineering techniques to make statues. They use different type of engineering and science methodologies to make bronze statues, right? And so on and so forth. So the intersection been working all the time, and the innovation been happening all the time. However, nowadays it's becoming more challenging. That's why I would like to focus more on that. But as we spoke a lot of time, art is a creation of its time, and as time evolves, and technology evolves and different cultures evolves, art is changing. That's why we have so many branches of art, like media art is a relatively new thing, which is pretty nice. So, so basically to touch down on what's going on, right? So again, let's take a historical overview about the fusion through the ages. So it's not a new picture for you. It's a Pantheon in Rome. And this is like a very interesting example of how engineering and science and art been working together. This is more functional example, and it's being used a lot as an example. Like dome structure is kind of interesting example because ancient Romans, they basically engineered basically a concrete, like a beton, right, for this specific reason. And the concrete actually started from this dome. And if you visited this place actually stands like this all the time, and it's fascinating. It's a perfectly geometrically correct building. It has like a golden ratios. It's just as beautiful as it's perfect from the engineering standpoint of view. So it's kind of a fascinating, and this kind of empowers us to look back and then see like they created this 2,000 plus years ago, right? By leveraging art, engineering, and science. Why not we can leverage that same techniques right now, and why not we can create something which will stand like for another 1,000 years, right? That's the question we're trying to answer. And in today's reality, you will see terms like smart cities, automotive, like unmanned vehicles and everything. In some sense, they are artworks, because there are so many technologies, so many aspects working together that you cannot really see separately. So we will try to dive into this specific portion, because our goal is really to understand how our domain can benefit from bringing engineering and science and art together. So really the fusion of minds is really about that, to kind of bridge these industries, bring them together, and get out and make us more competitive. So I will talk more about that. And if you look on this diagram, this is a very famous diagram. It talks about the interdisciplinary fusion, and the basic idea of this diagram is that in order to make a kind of breakthrough, make innovation, or make a great product, you need this fusion. You need, in some cases, you need all of them. In some cases, you need some of them. Right? But in these days, we're seeing a lot of isolation. In some cases, it's only engineering, science is only doing science, art is only doing art, which is not really good. So, and that's brought us to the idea that, hey, we need to kind of analyze this, we need to understand this, and that's why we've been discussing this topic for many years already during the Armenia Engineering Week. That's a huge event in Armenia, and we're proudly representing like engineering community in that event, and every year we had a panel discussion talking about the importance of fusion of the art and engineering, and basically until the last year we've been just having that conversations. And one time it was a kind of a coincidence when I actually met you, the team from CYLAND, right? And then we started to have more in-depth conversations, like how we can really try that. Because so far, we talked a lot. We talked about what's the benefits, what's the advantages, what are the disadvantages, but we never did something. That's why for us, it was very important to try something And yeah, we're really grateful that you guys are showing so much, willingness for collaboration, and that was the kind of a spark for us to start another direction for the interdisciplinary collaboration to really understand what is beyond engineering and science, right? Because for us, what is beyond is like a wall. We kind of going and hitting the wall, right? and we're hoping that with the project we're doing together, it will open our kind of a third eye, right? Which can help us to see things that we don't see right now. Like usually people with artistic inclinations, they are more creative. They have a different perspective in everything. They can approach problems from different angle that you're never gonna do. And that's why we're in here, because our kind of a philosophy is really in the innovation, because in Armenia engineering is kind of a growing direction, and nowadays if you want to make innovation, it's really difficult. You can't imagine how difficult in 21st century, in the age of AI, is to do innovation. It's not like it was 100 years ago or 50 years ago. You can't really do innovation right now. That's why having this type of a competitive outlook on things will allow you to be more competitive and find solutions that others can solve. That's why we called it Beyond Engineering and Science. This is really a powerful statement, and we are excited to kind of explore what is beyond. And that's why we kicked off a project proudly called Navigating the Unknowns in the Era of AI-Driven Smart Manufacturing. So this is, again, a very broad statement, very difficult to understand, but I will be trying to explain you what we want out of this, because this is not your typical, let's say, art project. And to be honest, it's really difficult to deliver a message to the engineer who is not really in the art, why we need art, how art can help us, right? It's like they kind of not really understanding, but I think we found the intersection in this particular industry, which is equally important and equally interesting. So, yeah, so basically I'm kind of representing Engineering City as well with this project, and we have like 400 engineers in the Engineering City who are most of them interested. Some of them don't understand what's going on. Most of them, yeah. But there is a kind of a ratio, right? Like, I don't know, 10%, 5% who finds value in it, and which is very important. And I think we can pull this out even with a smaller group, but with the usual engineering mindset, we're driving this project forward, So basically, we have a kind of a habit that if we start a project, no matter what, we're going to complete the project, and then we want to document what's happened. So even if it's successful or unsuccessful, we always try to complete it, right? Because it's not that during the project you will learn things. It's really in the end, right? When you reach your destination, that's really when you will learn, you will get experience. And usually the most of people drop out during the challenges, during the problems, during the difficult times. But when you reach the end, that's the important. That's why we want to bring this to the end, no matter it's difficult. We don't know literature and stuff like that, but we want to bring this to the end to see what's going to happen. Okay. So basically, let's dive into the topic, because to summarize, I mean, all of you know that engineering and science and art, they live together. Like a Greek mythology is a great example. Roman Empire, they basically used all the technologies. They still navigating, and still, like my father, when he makes statues, he's still using these old technologies with chisel and hammer and the punctures, when he's taking the shapes, taking the geometry from the copy to the real one. So it's really kind of basically they're using the same techniques that Michelangelo used like 600 years ago or something. But to this point, we want to bring these benefits to more difficult use, which is really we have an issue in smart manufacturing. We want to solve that issue with the help of art. So I will try to explain you in a nutshell, in the simple words, what is a smart manufacturing? Because smart manufacturing can get as complex as the sum of the works of the great artists of the history. So basically, all of us are the users of smart manufacturing, which you will see these automated systems like robots, automated machines, 3D printing, and different edge processing capabilities for cybersecurity and everything. So each of these bullet you will see is like a different. It's like a proficiency, and it's really hard to find a single person who know all of these disciplines. Like look here, so many disciplines. And in order to embrace smart manufacturing, you need to embrace all these industries together. That's why smart manufacturing is not a specific domain, let's say, I don't know, electronics, like hardware design. It's all together, because this is a discipline which brings to the reality other products. So in here, you will see this is a complete kind of a very complex picture. You can look on this from different perspectives. As an engineer, we usually see different blocks of the things. Like this is different block, this is different block. Or if you're in the art museum, you can imagine this is a big complex picture of one of the great artists. But the parallel that I wanted to bring is really to like compare this complex picture with this works, right? Those are the works of the of the Bernini from the Borghese Gallery. I took these pictures earlier this year when I was visiting this place. It's a scene when Pluto is kidnapping the Proserpina to the underworld, because he was always asking Zeus for the wife, and he never gave him permission, and Plato decided to do that. And then if you look on the details, obviously this work itself tells the history. If you rotate around the statue, it's like a movie. If you look on the different details, it can tell you so much of details. Like look on this three-headed dog, right? It's guarding the process of the kidnapping. And then look on the face of Plato, look on the face of Proserpina. And the point is that this single work is a combination of certainly of art, engineering, and science. Because when you look visually, you get this visual kind of a punch, this emotional punch of the work, of the history, right? But then if you look deeper, if you are a sculptor, you will see there they use some of the geometric principles to balance the weight and everything, and a lot of stuff. And certainly it's a great Carrarian marble, like probably it's as white as you can get. I mean, when you see this in person, it's like you can watch this in hours. And then if you come back, and you want to compare that with this, right? It's hard to compare, but that's what we need, right? That's what we need to make artists see this and make engineers see that, right? That's what we were trying to do. We want to bridge this. That's the intersection, and that's how we want to bridge that gap. And in reality, obviously, Bernini didn't make the statue alone. He had a big team. And then he had different experts. One was a finisher, one was a kind of a polisher, one was, I don't know, working on the hairs and everything. So this was kind of a multidisciplinary approach on this specific domain. And for us, we want to capture that as well. If you look here, each block is representing one proficiency, right? This is different. You need to get to the different university for this, different university for this. If you want to learn everything from the scratch, you probably, the entire life is not enough. You need to be thinking how to kind of deal with that. But for us, we picked a specific topic from this, which is really is related with emotions, because in the 21st century and today, there is a term called industrial revolutions. Right now, we're going through the fifth industrial revolution, which is really bringing this into the different level. When you still have automation, you still have intelligence robots, you still have people dealing with this, but you have a collaboration with robots, so which is very important. You have people working hand in hand with robots and understanding each other, like on the emotional level, right? So usually you will see a robot doing its specific operation, right, moving from A to B, but what's really happening right now, since the mechanical technologies really reached their kind of a perfection at the moment, at least, so they're leveraging the advanced sensing capabilities and then data analytic capabilities to make robots more intelligent. And that's the idea of emotion-aware robots are coming to the end. And that's really the place where it's hard to work on the on the defined kind of a circle, right? You need to be more open to the embracing the kind of emotions of the robots. So what I'm trying to explain is basically we want to explore this very challenging topic, which is emotion-aware robotics in the smart manufacturing. But we don't want to research that as a regular project. We want to research that as an art project because that's very well resonates with the idea that Anna gave us earlier this year about the kind of around the sensitive robots. And based on that, we came up with this, one more time, kind of view this beautiful statue. And then we came down to this project. And then the title is very important, Navigating the Unknowns in the Era of AI-Driven Smart Manufacturing. So one more time, the manufacturing of the future is changing. It's really going to be about the emotions, about the collaboration between human and machine. It will be how you will display your emotions, how you will be collaborating with robots. So there is a wrong statement that robots going to replace people, robots are going to, I don't know, take your job and stuff like that. In some extent, yeah, that's happening. Like it's already happened probably many years ago, but the key message here is really to deliver the message to the people that, hey, through the emotion-aware robotics, through the collaboration, you can really bring your talent to the different level and you can really embrace this new technology. So we're hoping that with the help of art, first of all, we can deliver this message with the installation, but second of all, we can research pretty advanced topic about which I will talk about. Sorry, I'm a bit sick from my previous trip. Basically, let's talk about some of the technical aspects of this presentation. So this is our bench. This is our demonstration or installation, as you wish. It has 2 robotic arms, which we designed and developed by ourselves during our free time. This is a table, which is symbolizing the kind of a conveyor line, because we don't have a point of showcasing advanced robotics doing something. We want to show that, hey, it's a piece of the smart manufacturing, assembling and disassembling something. So it will be a closed loop handling some of the parts. But most importantly, we added some ways of interacting with people, obviously. So with the help of cameras and the ML machine learning enabled vision, we're detecting human emotions. So right now we're detecting like seven types of emotions. Basically, if you are a person next to the bench expressing, let's say, positive things about this movement, you really deeply understand what's going on. So the system will capture your emotions, and that emotions will be reflected on the process, on the assembly process. So actually, if you're negatively expressing about this AI-enabled robotics, about the future, robots will get nervous, they will degrade, they will start making mistakes. So imagine if the person sits next to the conveyor line and that person tries to do something, and then you basically, as a manager of the production, you're coming next to the person and starting to express negative emotions towards person, right? Person will get emotional. Person will start making mistakes, right? But on the other hand, if you will start saying good things about the person, good things how that person did, the robot will start behaving much better. So the idea is to bring that human and machine analogy on this stand and kind of bring that to the life. And we actually already progressing very well. So this is a picture from the Armenia Engineering Week where we successfully showcased our demo version, which is still in the process. So you can see there are 2 kind of a basic robotic arms, and then there is a table on which, and then there's a camera with eyes. There are 2 LED displays which showcasing a human eyes, and then there are 2 cameras. One is pointing to the table to control the process. Another one is pointing to the audience. Basically, the aim of the installation is really that this will just behave, it will just continuously do that process, And then based on the people we will kind of visit this installation, and then they will express different, emotions towards the system will consume that emotions, and system will be behaving in accordance. So since we're using like some of the machine learning techniques, we will be collecting data over the time, and then this model will be evolving unpredictably. So it will learn by itself, it will evolve, it will develop some interesting data sets. And the interesting point of this is not just the installation for us, because right now we're heavily focusing on the actual industry side. So I would like to focus your attention on some of the actual laboratories right now we're building in Engineering City. So this is so we just kicked off a big project called Advanced Research Center in Engineering City, where we have 5 labs. You can see them: aerospace, automotive, semiconductor. But most importantly, we have smart manufacturing lab, which is a lab in which you will have industrial arms, robotic arms, and then we also will have a humanoid robot. So this means, so this project which we're doing is not just a fun for us. It's not just an example of basically creating some sort of a technology. Obviously, we engineers, we can make great stuff, and then trying to surprise some people. We really have a specific topic which is both interesting from the art perspective, and then it's also interesting from the actual industry perspective. And we think it's kind of a beyond engineering and science, and we think that we can explore that through the art perspective. And this is how we want to do it, for example, through these installations. And then later on, once this installation will serve its purpose, we might bring some of that data, some of that learnings into the smart manufacturing lab, where you have actual industrial robots and some, professional equipment. And we might apply that information that we gathered from the CYFEST, from the different art expos, right, into the actual machine. So that will bring us to the different, trying to solve this challenge from a different perspective. Imagine how cool it will be to have a team who is working on this. Actually, there's already a place in Engineering City for this lab. And then there's another group working on the art smart manufacturing piece. And then eventually they're coming together. So basically, we will be, obviously, next year, so this year's Engineering Week motto was Converging Engineering, Science and Art. So this is, you can understand how important for us art is, and then what type of a place we're giving for art, right, in our engineering community in different layers. And I think, so I had a chance to talk with different artists last Saturday during the dinner, right? And then some of your colleagues from Korea, US, and then EU, when I was explaining them this principle of converging engineering, science, and art, and kind of bridging this to a different level, everyone was exciting. They've been really expressing that kind of interest, like they've been kind of happy that finally there's some people who want to try this out. It's not just kind of enough talking, and this is really kind of fits in our ideology, in our practices, because as engineers we like to talk less, but we want to act more. So that's what we kind of balancing it. So and then I'd like to take this opportunity to also thank you, because during this Engineering Week we had a couple of exponents from the CYFEST in the Engineering City. We would like to continue that motion and maybe eventually make it bigger. So you will have Engineering Expo, you will have Art Expo, and then you will have some sort of an intersection which will bridge these two disciplines together. I think that will be really it, because I mean, we can make nice presentation, nice talks, but when it really comes together, that's the most important thing. But this is one of the needs, but let's talk about the other outcomes and consequences that we think this collaboration will bring, and we're hoping to make this collaboration kind of continuous. So I talked about how it's important to kind of attack these rapidly developing industries through a different perspective, right? But that's for the like a team, for the organization. But really, if you look for the person who is, let's say, an engineer or a scientist, we want to be competitive, we want to be entrepreneur, we want to change something, we want to do innovation. Like I said, innovation in 21st century is really difficult to do. And we need people like this, not only in our company, but in Armenia and then outside. So this is the kind of a resemblance of the balance. Why the person should be equally educated, let's say, in some of the aspects of engineering. So I wrote down some of the bullet points that I want to kind of, as a closing presentation, I want to kind of give you overview why we need some of this, like harmony of logic of emotion. So this is a problem. When you talk with engineers, they have a problem of logic and emotion, the harmony, because engineering is about logic, it's about calculations, about the predictable outcomes. But really, you need to account for emotions. So that's why having this harmony achieved by art is very important. Improved communication. I think we identified several aspects under these, but one of them is really to make engineering works, make engineering is more attractive through the improved communication. So if you are able to showcase engineering for the artworks, it's wonderful. It's more communicatable, it's more visual, and then you can have more younger generation be attractive with that. Innovation for diverse perspective. This is really important because, again, innovation is hard to do, and then to really make a kind of interesting breakthrough, having this diverse perspective will be important. And then, like public engagement is usually more right toward arts than toward engineering. In some cases, is opposite. I'm hoping that bridging these two together will kind of create an effect that will benefit from everyone. And this one is very important for us. It's a dialogue between order and chaos. Basically, what does it mean? It really means different things. It depends how you will approach this. Like an example that I like to bring is like, imagine you probably in your life you've seen people who are better navigating in difficult situations. When there's a chaos, these people, it's their place. They can navigate, it's their place to enjoy because they really become creative when they are in the chaos. And then, but the opposite, there's a people who like order. When there is something is going out of the lines, something is not planned, it's done. They are not able to move forward. So this is extreme from extreme, and then in the engineering, you really see the entrepreneurs in the chaos area. You see people like us trying to do something different, right? We like the chaos, but we like balancing, and we like bringing this together. We don't like creating extreme situations. And this is a great educational idea. That's why we kind of enjoying this process of creating this education project. And then it's really a manifestation. It's about, in the end, it's really about manifestation of human potential, because in each of us, obviously, there's a talent, right? In one of them, the talent is in a specific place. That person finds it easily. But when you bring people outside of its working environment to try something else, it's opening up. Some people finding their real kind of inspirations, their real interests. And at least in our community, we have plenty of people who have hobbies. They have hobbies related with art. And in the regular working environment, they are unable to kind of pursue those. And then this type of opportunities will make that people be more involved and don't like act kind of separately, but again, be part of the community. So to summarize, basically this idea of presentation was kind of to introduce you and whoever is watching online on the initiative we are doing and why we are doing. It's really about, it's not just about like creating art to be kind of, to be absorbed, to be enjoyed, and then create something which is technologically advanced. It can surprise a lot of people, right? It's not about that. It's really about reaching the specific goals that we think are possible to be reached through the collaboration with you guys, with other artists, and then we will be happy to continue this. And then eventually, one of our dreams is to have an art exhibition in Engineering City, because we have Science Expo, we have, museum, we have a Science and Technology Museum, we have a museum about cosmos, and then how great it will be to have another museum showcasing our collaboration with artists, right? Yeah, and then, yeah, this is pretty much it. So I don't have any more kind of a context to show. So, so I will be closely working with Anna from December on finalizing the art concept of the installation. Basically, we already reached a lot. We come really far, but we really need to, since we progressed on engineering side quite a bit, we want to focus on art concept part. We want to maybe write some articles, maybe some context, and then we want to continue to the direction of finalizing this during the next year, and then eventually, yeah, we'll be happy to present this in CyberFest, maybe in different other events, and start trying to understand how we can harvest the consequences and then the benefits that we're willing to harvest. Yeah, and that's it. Any questions you have, just feel free to ask me in Armenian, in English, or in Russian, as you wish. Yeah. Yeah.
What is the most challenging task for this project, as you're doing right now at this moment?
Well, the most challenging part is not, interestingly, is not around the engineering. It's not around how to build the arm, how to program it. It's really to wrap our head around the goal, around the idea, right? Because as engineers, again, we work in big projects, you know, we're kind of famous on solving big problems, but every problem solving starts from the problem. You need to have a very well-defined problem, what you're gonna do, what you wanna do, and how you're gonna do it, right? And basically, sometimes, you know, we have few people working on this with me, and sometimes they struggle. Hey, it's ARM, but what's it gonna do? Is it gonna move from here to there? So the art concept is really the key. And obviously, we're learning how to write art concept, right? We can write technical concept. It should be plus minus 10%. It should be this. It should be that, and then and then you know, that stuff. And then we basically, when we started this project, we created the engineering PowerPoints. We did the calculation. We need this. We need that. But eventually, we understood we need to approach this from different perspective. And that's the thing I want to work with Anna and maybe with others. How to define the art concept from the beginning, and then how to, you know, have people to develop that. Because when you have an art concept, I realized that it might be your engineering part might change. Really, it's probably is not right to build engineering in the beginning and then start trying to adjust the art to it. Yeah. So anyway, it's a kind of a difficulty that we face, but we're learning. I think we will make a great progress. Yes.
One question about this project. Do you think that there is way can recognize, for example, tender?
Tender, yes.
Yes, tender, yes. What the artist wants, like I understand. That she wants that it will be more or less live, reaction to the emotion. But do you think it's we can realize that?
Yeah, technically it's possible. So basically, you know, things like tenderness, things like detecting sensitivity. It's possible with sensors. Yeah, basically, and there is a, you know, probably Alexei already. So if you have just a gripper, which is gripping something, you need to control the force, right? Because you might squeeze that too much, that part, right? And then you might kind of damage your thing. And then yes, so that's interesting idea. Maybe we need to add that, right? To kind of have that sensitivity touch, right? Maybe if there's a human emotion built in that, and then if they have that feedback, maybe it will create some on-cue movements, right? Some more human-like emotions, yeah.
But you have to prидумать.
Yeah, invent. Yeah.
Yes, the new language for this.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Language of the movie, yeah.
Mhm.
The words.
Yeah, sure. And then, I mean, we already have we can control this, you know, on the mathematical level and everything is controllable, right? But it's really about what type of input you need to give to the machine so it can generate output, right? So input usually is given by sensors, right? By the processes, by the cameras, and then output is the movement. So our inputs are really the audience, the people who will be generating emotions. So far, we focus on vision, like visual emotions, like your mimics and everything. So speech is another direction we can go, like based on what you are speaking, it will do the movements, right? And then obviously there are other things to get, like for example, the smell, kind of different things, right? When people are nervous, they generate different, you know, they sweat, they have different fermentation. Anyway, so there are different directions, and obviously we don't want to overload us too much. But interestingly, that directions that we're trying to use for art are equally important for actual industry. That's the key point here. Maybe we can select something which tomorrow will be used for actual industry. Maybe there will be a research project coming from art project to actual research center, and they will kind of monetize that in the end, right? That's the idea, because again, there are challenges which are nearly impossible to solve with just the engineering approach, right? You usually need to approach from different perspective, and then that's why we selected smart manufacturing, because we are seeing some challenges there, and then we have this lab opening in our facilities. And maybe this will be kind of working hand to hand. You know, same experts can be involved in the art projects, and then this will be kind of a closed loop. Yeah. Yes, Nazaret.
First of all, it's super interesting for me, especially the research that you're trying to make and the analogy that you made, like an AI-driven era of smart manufacturing. Because when I think about it, actually, my point is not a question. It's just a chaotic collection of ideas based on what you present, because it's super interesting. So the first interesting part was so the introduction of robots in manufacturing, in my opinion, was done to prevent human error, to do lots of repetitive tasks,
exactly.
high precision, etc. But when you're introducing AI into it and machine learning, we kind of expect that it will start behaving as well like a human, probably, and the research could, you know, have some outcomes there, like how would these AI-driven robots behave like a human. But what interests me more, or what could be an idea, is when we're talking about art. I think art, my definition of art would be like a collection of impressions and expressions, like a human being collecting impressions and then expressing it in a way, right? So writers, musicians, sculptors, painters, whatever, they have their own life experience and impressions, right? And they try to, in the imagination of their own internal, let's say, perception, they want to express it in a form. And for me, not only sculptures are work of art. When I look at a car, right, I have a special love for pickup trucks. And when I look at the Toyota Tacoma, which is tuned in a way, I was like, this is a piece of art for me. Or any other product that could be manufactured with engineering and science practices could be also perceived by the human being as a piece of art. And what I'm interested in, or with the limitations that such robots have, is, an idea. It could be give it a task with Legos. Say that build for me a car or anything, any product with pieces of Legos, and then make the robot try to learn and perceive, from lots of impressions, and then maybe research on what would be the end product, what would be, and that product could be a piece of art as well. So ultimately, humans are making piece of art, but could we perceive a future where when robots with their perception could do also pieces of art, maybe trying to start with a Lego and putting pieces together, or doing anything else? Because what you're trying to do is, I think, super complex on trying to understand how would be the reaction based on emotions, etc. I think a more palpable and tangible, let's say, outcome would be kind of the analogy of, instead of humans, impressions and expressions, robots, impressions and expressions, and what would be their end product.
Nazaret, that's great. I think you have some.
Again, it's not a question, it's a project.
You have some great insights. You're probably going to join this. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yeah. So we don't have any strict rules in a project, but the idea is to, since emotions can be expressed in different way, right? Like you said, and we want to analyze that in the context of smart manufacturing, right? And then we have Anna Franz, she's not here right now, but she want to kind of analyze more on the direction of emotions, how they can behave in different aspects of emotions. But I think that's a great idea, because basically we said, let's do just a simple task, right? Assemble, disassemble something, but eventually that's where direction is going, right? When the robotics will get perfect, when everything will be wonderful, all the joints will be like human, there will be no limitations like how a person moves and the robot moves, right? In terms of accuracy, the other things will be around the kind of at the sanity level that you have. And exactly, that's what you're going to see. And then I think in 10 years, not longer than 10 years, you will start seeing things like that. Because with the current advancements of AI, and then the artificial intelligence models, right? And then the capacity of computing resources, which is increasing day by day, there will be potentially enough resources to do something like that, like to have enough data to train big enough models to do like that. Yeah, and so when I say analyzing the art concept, I mean things like that, like understanding the idea and then basically calibrating with the level of complexity, right? Because we don't want to make this an endless project. We want to kind of complete this in a specific time to be present to harvest and then to move forward. Yeah, great conversation. So I think we need to continue that. Yes, other questions?
Do you plan to make any visual upgrades or tuning things for this route? Like it will be not necessarily for the home manufacturing, but it can be interesting as an upgrade, different style of the parts, different faces.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So to make it more visually kind of appealing, attractive. Yeah, we kind of thinking. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Now it's pretty basic, it's like bare bone. I was thinking maybe we can still leave it like this because it's a kind of a core. In the core it moves like this, but then attach some decorations on the top, like have a kind of a second level. Yeah. So everything is being designed in SolidWorks, so we can play as we want. But
I want to ask about for example, in this CYFEST exhibition on your center. Can you say that some artworks to move you more close to the idea to bridge between art and science, engineering, for example? Do you like some works there? Yes.
I see from the current exhibition. Let me see. Which art can be? Well, certainly there we can probably have different like kind of domains for comparison. One is like a technological comparison, like how much of the engineering has been used. And then what's the like art concept, right? What type of message it was trying to convey. I think the work just next to the entrance from Dementiva, right? So that was interesting. Like when she added these kind of wish mails, right? And then it's been shredded. It's been kind of, it somehow represented this shared, this collective information, collective ideas kind of mixing together, and then some of them been flying, been circulating, some of them been collecting underneath, right? That was interesting, and we had a great conversation with her. She gave me some links to explore. I know there is some others in the botanical garden I need to check out, but yeah, that one, and then there been few more, but I need to rub my hands. So,
And what for me interesting for engineering, what is art history or art way? It's really important for them to know to start to agree to create some, or it is only the professional interest.
Great question. Yeah, I see. Yeah. It depends. It's 50-50. Depends with whom we are talking with. Some people are only interested in technology because their hobby is technology, right? That's another school.
Интересно искусство, то есть изначально создать образ, или ему интересно сразу просто решить профессиональную проблему?
So I will answer in English. So it depends who are the people, but it's a kind of, it's important in every project. I think it's important to have someone or some people who have a vision in both directions. Like they have a vision in art and vision in engineering, because eventually they are the people who will make it happen, and they need to build a team around that, right? And you cannot find people like you. Usually also it's not good to try to find people like you. It's always good to find people with different mindsets. And then some people are only like engineering. They don't care about art. You know, we have someone in our team, he says, I don't care about art expression, I care about this joint. Because it's interesting to me, this type of a solution, you know. That's great for the project, right? And then during the project, we're trying to shift their balance a bit on the art side, because like I said in my previous presentation, the benefits of engineering, becoming an artist, or at least embracing art, is important for them to be successful in their life, in their career, to make difference in their community. And this brings us to the point when by doing this kind of stuff, teaching them how to be some sort of a generalist, right? Like there's another term to that, like how to be a Renaissance man. So we had a gentleman in Armenia Engineering Week sitting next to you from US. He said that there's, if you want to be generalist or a Renaissance man, you have to learn like, I don't know, 5,000 words in the encyclopedical level or something, but that's a different approach, But obviously, when you're thinking about art, you're starting to read about about different artworks, right? Like, this year I visited, many museums that I usually don't visit because of this project. My kind of idea started to shift, right? So I needed that inputs in order to be more creative in this area, but usually so I don't visit that much of art museums. I'm kind of more on the technology side. So that's the question, and to kind of summarize on that, so you have people who have equal interest in art and engineering, but then you have people who only have interest in tech. They can create very nice things, but they're missing the connection. And with this type of projects, we need to balance that. Okay, any other?
I was saying this, like LSE. Could you tell us a little bit more about your next step, maybe your future plan for installation?
Next steps, yes. So the next steps will be the following. So I think we need to organize some kind of a brainstorming sessions with Anna and maybe other artists from your side to really review the concept, you know, review what we have right now and what we want to have in the end, and make sure that the art concept is very well planned. So then we will continue kind of adjusting the installation, maybe changing something to meet the art concept. I think that's the next steps, and then we can start it from December, you know. Yeah, so we can plan it. That's the plan. So far we've been doing that lectures, right, with different artists, and then in parallel we've been developing this just to have a background. But right now, since we already have something working, we need to make it more palatable as art installation, you know. So I think I probably will need to consult with Alexei and Anna, and then so again, we're really interested in jumping into the art, because we're not interested in building this stuff, because we do that every day. We kind of already sick doing this. Yeah, so hopefully that next steps can be kind of, we can define those and move forward, yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Another question?